Today I have another tier list for you, and it is for the band Helmet. I'm doing this a little differently. As you can see, I designed my own tier system. There are only 4 tiers. Each tier will fit about 2 albums or maybe 3 because I have 9 albums to rank. I'll be doing this as I always do my tier lists or rankings. They will be in chronological order of release. So with that being said, let me jump right into this. First, let's start with Strap It On, released in October 1990 through Amphetamine Reptile Records. It was produced by Wharton and the band Helmet. It's a short album. It's only about 30 minutes long. This is where they start to develop their style. A lot of it has that New York hardcore sound, but you will hear their signature stop-start guitar riffs, and the guitars are tuned to a drop D. Thought it was very good. It's heavier than some of the others. It's very raw. It's very noisy. It's aggressive. You hear more of those aggressive vocals. Some songs use clean vocals. The song Sinatra was covered by the Deftones, so you can see the album has been influential. I thought the second half of the album was better than the first half. Songs felt more recognizable to me. The best songs would be Sinatra, FBLA, and Blacktop. Make Room is very good. I thought it had a sound that was close to their subsequent albums. Overall, it's a good album. If I have any negatives, the production is very raw, but otherwise, I'm going to put this in the B tier. Next is the album Meantime. This is the album where I discovered them. It was one of my favorite albums back in the early 90s. It was released on June 23rd, 1992 through Interscope Records. This was the album that catapulted them into the mainstream. They were considered a grunge band, although I don't feel that label is correct. The album had 3 big songs, Unsung, Give It, and In the Meantime. They all had music videos. They were even considered to be the next Nirvana. This was one of the few bands that was played on both Headbangers Ball, which was the metal show, and 120 Minutes, which was the alternative show. So opening track In the Meantime showed off the heavier side. Ironhead had some great stop-start guitar riffs. Give It was one of the more alternative sounding songs with clean vocals in the bass guitar intro. Unsung was a great song. It still holds up today. He Feels Bad. It shows the band slowing down the pace a little. I like the chromatic guitar riff in the song better. There's even a song called FBLA 2, which was the sequel to FBLA from Strap It On. Overall, great album. This one goes in the S tier. Next is Betty. This is the 3rd album and the follow-up to Meantime. This was released on June 21st, 1994 through Interscope Records. This album was a little more experimental than Meantime. The songs are all great. It has the song Milquetoast, which was also on the Crow soundtrack. The album opener is Wilma's Rainbow. It starts with a lot of noise and feedback, but also has its signature sound with staccato guitar riffs and a clean vocal style of Page Hamilton. I know it's a great song that's slower and more atmospheric. The song also has a cool drum intro and some loud screaming vocals. There's some experimental songs such as Street Crab that has a noisy and grungy sound. Clean has an alternative rock sound with cleaner vocals. There's a jazz instrumental cover song called Beautiful Love. It actually gets heavy at the end. The weirdest songs appear towards the end of the album. Silver Hawaiian is a rap metal song. Overrated is a slow, droning, noisy song. And Sam Hell is like alternative bluegrass. So the album's very good. It's very different. I put this in the S tier, but it's behind Meantime, but only slightly. Next is Aftertaste. This is their 4th album. It was released on March 18th, 1997 through Interscope. This one is more straightforward. I feel it's like Meantime Part 2 as opposed to like the experimental nature of Betty. The album was also recorded as a 3-piece. The album did not sell as well as the previous 2 albums. For some reason, I've heard mixed reviews of this album. People tend to like it or hate it. I think it's very good. I like the heavy alternative sound that was comparable to Meantime. The band starts to get a little more melodic with this album. The opening track, Pure, has some stop-start guitar riffs and harsher vocals. The two songs, Renovation and High Visibility, reminded me of early Nirvana songs with the bass guitar and noisy grunge sound. However, the song Renovation was leaning more towards punk and alternative. Exactly what I wanted was the first single. It's a typical Helmet song. Like I Care has the bass guitar intro, some cleaner singing, one of the more accessible songs. Broadcast Emotion has a sound closer to a typical song from Meantime. Harmless has a fuzzy punk rock type of sound that was closer to their first album. Overall, very good album in my opinion. I will put this in the A tier. Next is Size Matters. This is their fifth album, which was released on October 5th, 2004 through Interscope. This was a comeback album after the band broke up in 1998. I used to listen to this one a lot back when it came out. It had more of a commercial sound. Still sounded like Helmet. They would eventually continue with this direction on subsequent albums. It also has a completely new lineup with Page Hamilton being the only original member. Some consider this a Page Hamilton solo project, but it was packaged as a Helmet album. I've heard some people say negative things about this. I've always liked it a lot. Here's some interesting trivia. Many of the lyrics were inspired by a year-long romance that Page Hamilton had with Winona Ryder. The first single was called See You Dead. This one has their signature stop-start guitar riffs and a bouncy rhythm, in addition to some noisy guitars in the chorus. Some songs are a little different. For example, Unwound has loud guitar chords that reminded me of the Foo Fighters. It was more of a radio-friendly song, but I like it a lot. I think my favorite song was Throwing Punches, a heavy song with awesome guitar riffs and vocals that reminded me of a drill sergeant. I'm going to put this in the A tier, ahead of Aftertaste. Next is Monochrome. I listened to this for the first time in preparation for this ranking video. The album was also recorded as a three-piece. The title track was played during the closing credits of Saw 3. It was produced by Helmet and Wharton Tears. So it was meant to be a return to the original sound they had on Strap It On and Meantime. I thought it was decent, but it wasn't very memorable. There were a few good songs. Brand New has some palm-muted guitar riffs and harsh vocals. Monochrome was slow and atmospheric. I guess they were going for that haunting sound, considering it wasn't a Saw film, and it had clean singing and noisy guitars. Gone has that hardcore punk sound that was present on their first album, Strap It On. Almost Out of Sight has some pretty noisy and slow guitars and clean vocals. 410 was one of the heavier songs with fast-paced drums and heavy guitar riffs. Page Hamilton lets out angry vocals on that one, but overall, it's just okay. I'm going to put this at the front of the C tier. Next is Seeing Eye Dog. This is their seventh album. It was released on September 7th, 2010 via Work Song. I also listened to this for the first time in preparation for this ranking video. I didn't like this one that much. It seemed like it was very raw and noisy, and songwriting was not great. The title track, Seeing Eye Dog, tried to capture a signature sound, but the song was not memorable. LA Water had a weird post-punk type of sound mixed with noise rock. I felt the band was straying too much from their sound, and that song also had loud industrial sounds. In person sounded like classic Helmet, but the vocals were different and they didn't click with me. White Guy was, or White City, sorry, was kind of slow. It had distorted guitars and harsh vocals, and the song was not very memorable. There was a Beatles cover, And Your Bird Can Sing, which was kind of weird for this band to cover. It was okay. Miserable was a good song. I think it might keep it ranked a little higher than I originally intended to, just because of that song. I liked it. And the final song, She's Lost, a 6.5-minute song, kind of long for this band. It was different. It was strange. Didn't sound like Helmet, but wasn't too bad. This is album's different, but I'm going to put this at the bottom of the C tier. Next is Dead to the World. This one was released on October 20th, 2016 through Ear Music. produced by Page Hamilton. I didn't like it when it came out. I guess it might be because I hadn't listened to the previous two albums and I wasn't really aware of the natural progression of this band's sound. But after revisiting it, I started to like it a little more. The opening track, Life or Death, is a cool song. Sounded like Helmet. They were just more melodic and they tuned down the heaviness a little. I Love My Girl sounds a little bit like 80s glam metal with melodic lead guitar intro, but then the song took off with a chromatic guitar riff. It sounded more like a Helmet song. Bad News was the lead single. It sounded more like a Foo Fighter song. It wasn't too bad. There's an Elvis Costello cover called Green Shirt. I actually didn't recognize the song, but when I listened to it again, I realized they were doing something different. Die Alone, another song, sounded more like the Foo Fighters, but not too bad. Drunk in the Afternoon was good with a classic sound, but I will put this in the B tier after Strap It On. Now for the new album called Left. This was released on November 10th, 2023, which was about maybe 2 weeks ago. I thought it was pretty good. It has 11 songs. It's 31 minutes long, straight and to the point. It still sounds like Later Day Helmet. It's not comparable to their older albums like Meantime, Betty, or Aftertaste, but they'll still think it's pretty good. I like the first single called Holiday. At first I thought it was weird, but that one grew on me a lot. I like Gun Fluff, that has a cool classic sound. I like Big Shot, that's really good. I like the guitar sound in that one. They do some experimental stuff with Reprise, which is an instrumental. And the last song, Resolution, was weird, but overall it was pretty good. It still sounds like Helmet. It might be a little better than Dead to the World, only because it's straight and to the point, and there's no filler on here, but at the same time, songs don't compare to their old material. This is going to go in the B tier right in front of Dead to the World. So that is all. Give me a ranking of the Helmet albums in the comment section. If you want to see my full review of Left, I will link that right here. It's on the screen somewhere. Please remember, like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe to my channel. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. I will see you in the next one.